Hello everyone, and welcome to The Cycle Guide. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I go about preparing my runs, and give you some tips that can help you survive more of your runs, complete more missions, and hopefully it's going to allow you to make some good cash, so you can start getting the ball rolling. When I prepare for a run, the first thing I do isn't to gear up. I usually set myself a goal that I want to complete in my run, whether it being PvP, complete quests, or make money. By setting myself this goal, I know what I need to achieve in my run, and I know what to expect. If my goal is to complete quests, one of the first things I'm gonna do before I go into the run is I'm gonna look through the different jobs and missions. I do this because there are different types of quests in this game. There are quests where you need to find stuff in the raid, kill monsters at certain destinations, or maybe even they ask you to bring something into the raid that you need to stash in dead drops around the map. By making sure I know what I have to do to complete my quests. Which means I can make a mental or physical note of where I need to go, what I need to do, and what loot I need to be looking for. Alright, let's say you have set yourself a goal for the quest, or for your run. What you need to do now is gear up. You need to make sure that you have what you need to complete your set goals. That being a weapon that can handle what you're going for, some armor, obviously a backpack so you can carry out some loot, meds, and ammo. For certain situations, you're gonna need to bring more of one thing than others. Like if you have to kill, let's say, 10 striders, you won't need that many or that much ammo. But if you need to kill 10 rattlers instead, 200 bullets is probably not gonna make it. Because there's still the chance that you run into people, even though it isn't your goal to try to PvP, you're gonna try to avoid it. There's still the chance that you run into people and you're gonna have to fight them. So make sure you bring enough ammo and some spare in case you run into other people. The same with meds. 5 stims, I wouldn't say is enough. Like it's bare, it's not even gonna cover like your full HP bar if you're only running white stims. Where if you use green, it's gonna be more expensive, but they heal you for a lot more than what the white ones do. So make sure you also bring enough meds so you don't run out and you end up in a situation where you have no HP, you have no meds, and you're just gonna have to try and run and hope no one finds you. On top of that, you should also be taking into consideration what kind of armor you're wearing. There are different types of armor in the game, which gives you different benefits. You have the normal types of armor, which gives you the highest amount of armor you can have, which is the best defensive option. Then you have restoration armor. It has 3 less armor than the normal one, but it allows you to slowly heal over time. So for a pure gunfight, the 3 armor might be better, but the restoration helmet can allow you to save some stims or meds in the long run, because you typically take a little bit of fall damage, creature damage, or you might just need a little bit of HP after a gunfight you've had. And this is going to allow you to slowly regenerate, saving you that 1 stim you might otherwise use. Then we also have tactical gear, which again it's 3 less armor, but it increases your stamina. So you can run for longer, which can be a huge benefit if you're just trying to traverse the map. Personally, I would go for the just flat out normal helmet, which gives you the best benefits of armor, but I also do like PvPing, and I have a tendency to just, whenever I hear gunshots, run towards it. Alright, lastly, before we go into in-game tips and tricks that like I use personally, think about a lot to try to like survive more runs and get quests done and stuff like that. I'm gonna talk about your inventory management. Usually, it's pretty easy to overcap your limit with items, especially if you don't run around selling stuff. So I've made myself like sort of a rule that I'm gonna try to keep 1 stack of everything, like 1 full stack of everything. Except if I know that I am going to use more than just that 1 stack coming up in a like near future. For instance, I know I need 15 needles for one of my upgrades in the hideout. That's why I have 2 stacks of them. And rattleskin can be used to craft blue gear. Alright, let us go into our in-game tips and tricks. I'm gonna keep it pretty simple, so it's something that everyone can use. Not just people who play in a certain way, but something everyone can implement into their game to help them get through their runs easier, or have an easier time. First off, I want to talk about the stamina. Stamina is a very huge thing to keep in mind in this game, because you don't want to be in a situation where you get caught off guard in the open and you can't run to cover. So try to keep enough stamina in your bar so you're always able to run to cover or away from people or monsters, so you don't like take unnecessary damage or you end up getting killed. That means don't just jump around. This consumes a large amount of stamina, and it's a very bad habit I have, jumping around a lot, which leads me to very often be very low on stamina. One of the downsides to being low on stamina, except the fact that you just can't run from things, is also your character is going to be heavy breathing, or making it a lot easier for other players to hear you and like track you down, because it's some consistent damage, so you can't just like try and hide in the dark corner if they can hear you. Also, on like the stamina node and like people hearing you, did you know that you can actually melee striders with your knife? If you take a knife out and you charge it just for a slight bit of time, you can just one-hit striders of any HP pool, and it's only gonna cost you a little bit of stamina. This can be really good to like try not to attract people by using gunfires and stuff like that, because there are a lot of people in this game that are straight up like just hunting gunfire. For our next tip, I'm gonna talk about you being able to see what armor the person you're shooting at is wearing. When you're hitting someone, below your hit marker there's gonna be like a shield icon in different colors. It can be white, green, blue, purple, like the different rarities of the armor. The color of that shield icon down below your hit marker is the rarity of the armor that you're shooting at or hitting. You can use this information to assess the situation and whether it might be smarter to run from a fight than take it. Which leads us straight into my next step. Don't be afraid to run or reset a fight. This is a game about survival. The more you survive, the more money you have. The more money you have, the better gear you can run, buy, craft. Like, having gear can have you run, or having money can have you run consistently in higher tier gear. Which is why you shouldn't be afraid to run from a fight that you don't think you can win, or if you're not feeling comfortable. Run, reset, like, go away, heal up, and see if maybe you can catch them off guard or anything like that. Don't be scared to run. Survival is your number one priority, or should be your number one priority in this game, because surviving means you did what you're supposed to. If you survive, you get out with loot, you get money. Going into our next tip, I'm gonna talk about Voip, our in-game voice proximity chat in the cycle. Voip is an amazing thing in games like this, because you don't always have to kill people you meet. You can simply just, like, let's say you're trying to evac, you see a ship next to you, or a ship landing next to you. You can try to talk to the guy who's about to leave and say, hey, could I join you? They might say yes. They might say no. They might ignore you. They could also be tricking you by saying yes and stuff like that. But violence isn't always the answer. You can easily use Voip to get out of some tough situations, or, like, get around fights that you don't need to take. I've had plenty of situations where someone has Voiped at me, or I've Voiped at someone and been like, hey, do we need to fight? And that, like, just escalating to the, no, we actually don't have to fight, so let's just go our separate ways and enjoy the game. So use Voip to your advantage. You don't always have to fight, unless you want to. Lastly, when it comes to evacuation, not only can people try to run after your airship or your evac ship whenever they see it, but they can also hear if you call it in when they're nearby. It's gonna make a, like, little beeping noise whenever you call the ship in. So after you call your airship, don't just stand in the open, wait for it to land, and just go in immediately. Try to stay hidden for a while after calling the evac, and wait till the last second before you run into the ship in case someone might be after you. You can see exactly when the ship is gonna leave. There's gonna be a purple-ish bar at the top of your screen that's gonna fill up when the ship's about to take off. When that's full, the ship is leaving. So you can use that to, like, run into your evac ship at the last minute without any issues. That's gonna make it a lot harder for other people to chase you down and get you and kill you, because you aren't gonna be in the open for very long, and when you are in the open, and running into the ship, it's gonna leave like the moment you enter the ship and you're gone. They can't really do much about that. So this is generally how I go about preparing myself for a game, and tips are frequently used to survive more runs. If you enjoyed this video, how about smashing the like button, and maybe you could share it with a friend in need of some guidance. We've all been struggling at some point, and the best way to start improving is to just throw yourself at it. I hope you have an amazing day. Hitmixer, peacing out.
Bag dig.